All right, Billy Cunningham, the great American, in the studio for the first time is the Right Reverend, the Bishop, the Archbishop, the Cardinal, the Pope. Brian Tome is here at Crossroads. Archbishop, how you doing?
William, I am fantastic. I'm bucking for Cardinal. You know, I've gone up to Archbishop so far. That's not good enough. I want Cardinal.
You want to go to the top?
I'm going all the way to the top, baby.
So what is it in modern society in the 21st century that is causing a proliferation of mass murder by guys like you and me?
We've lost the ability to connect with each other. We've lost the ability to form relationships with each other. And we've actually lost the ability to play. Our culture has ideas of what little boys need, and you're wrong, dead wrong. If we keep doing what culture's doing right now, we may have people who are emotionally nice, but they're not going to be healthy.
Loneliness and play deprivation. Loneliness. All right, let's take a short break, and we're going to get together later at 3 o'clock, correct?
Yes, we are.
What are you going to do with me at 3?
I've started a new YouTube channel. It's called Brian Brings a Beer. I'm getting together with interesting people, just having conversations. So I'm going to have fun talking to you about questions.
You're going to ask me questions.
I'm going to ask you questions about being a talk show host that many people, I've always wondered, but other people are now going to get the answer. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a little episode. People can subscribe and see if they want to.
Brian Tome, the Right Reverend, thank you very much.
My pleasure, William.
Let's continue with more. Bill Cunningham, the great American, live every day at your home. But the Bengals win on 700 WLW. Well, he'll show you where to go, and then we'll come down in about 25 minutes.
Good. Thanks, Bill.
Oh, this is like the greatest thing. America, stuff your pockets with cash.
I wouldn't say you're a tool.
No! Oh, come on! That's ruthless, dude. You're already laughing.
If you know where that is, that's a problem.
You have a very distinctive voice. Did you just pet the goldfish?
This is how it began. In the 20th century, I was picked as one of the top 100 radio personalities of all time. I've been on the top 10 list and across the country. But it all came back to 1977. Desperate and Dateless. You might remember in the 70s and 80s.
I don't remember.
There was a radio talk show named Desperate and Dateless.
Due to the nature of tonight's program, Desperate and Dateless on 55 KRC is rated R. No one under 17 is permitted to listen without the consent of his or her parents, legal guardian, or biology instructor.
And men would call these 4 lines, women would call these 4 lines, and Alan Browning would hook them up. And you had to be desperate. And you'd call in and you'd go on dates.
So you had one time in the studio, and then someone said, oh my gosh, this guy has a voice for radio. He's gonna, because that's one of my questions, like, you have a very distinctive voice.
Right.
Do you talk like this on purpose?
I do talk like this.
So even if you weren't in radio, you would have that cadence.
I think I would.
All right, I like it. If 1 is left, hard left, if 10 is alt-right, where are you personally?
Depends on the issue. I think on social issues, I'm kind of liberal. Gay marriage, that kind of stuff, I'm okay with that. Abortion, I think, is murder. That's not good. But on fiscal issues, I'm a conservative.
Is every talk show host exactly who they appear on this, or do you have to go into a different persona, a different mode in order to be interesting to hear on the radio?
Those I've known well. You take Sean Hannity, take Mark Levin, take Scott Sloan, Mike McConnell. We're basically the same people off there as on there. But the reason is this. I'm on the air 18 hours a week. So every year I'm on the air about 1,000 hours a year, 1,000 hours. Mm-hmm. You cannot act for 1,000 hours. Something bleeds through.
Okay.
And so you have to more or less be true to yourself, otherwise you don't have a core.
So we've got a beer here. Brian brings beer. I always have a different beer, has a different story. We've got America. The great American beer, which actually, unfortunately, isn't even owned by America anymore. Belgium owns this right now, but this is a big deal. A great American.
Yeah.
You're a great American. So when you say that, how much of that is show business and catchiness, and how much of that is, no, you just think America all the time?
No, I believe that.
Okay.
I really do. Because when you think about our country, where we are and where we're going to be, when you think about this, Reverend Brian Tome, Right Reverend, if you're black as the ace of spades or white as chalk in Pike County, and you graduate from high school, you don't have criminal activity, you don't have kids out of wedlock, and you work, the odds of you being poor is under 4%. It's not about color, it's about the kind of person you are. And if Pike County's not working, or if Chicago's not working, you have a duty or responsibility when you have insight to get up and leave and go somewhere else.
I just got back from a bike trip. I'm a big adventure motorcycle rider. So I went through bottom of New Mexico all the way to the top of New Mexico on dirt, camped the whole way. I've done the same thing in about 6 other states. And when you do that, you're in beautiful areas and you're in very impoverished areas.
Poor.
Very poor areas. And you go through these itty-bitty towns. Man, it's a very scary thing to go through impoverished rural America.
And it's everywhere.
Man.
The great majority of poor people in America are white. The great majority, numerically, are white. But if you're a white male living in rural Kentucky, Indiana, or Ohio, and you look around and the biggest thing in town is a Tasty Freeze, and the best you can do is $8.30 an hour, man, the American dream isn't working for you.
This is all you know.
This is my life.
But I know I wanted to get to this question. I feel like when I come on your show, which first of all, I'm very honored that you would have me on your show.
The only reason I have it is not for religion and not for you. It's got nothing to do with it. You're on for one reason, you work. So I have you on because you're a good guest. And you're on because you're different. I have on politicians, lawyers, newsmakers, miscreants of every description. But I like to have somebody on with philosophy and perspective, someone from 30,000 feet looking down instead of somebody in the garbage dump. You're interesting, provocative, and with current events, you can weave it back into the Bible and things that go back 2,000 years.
So that's my question for you.
When you're not interesting, you're gone.
I'm gone. Gone. Out.
You're out.
Yes.
Why wouldn't someone say, assuming if Jesus were alive today, why in the world wouldn't he use the means available today? For some reason, Brian, you're able to be down here with the schleps, with the schmucks, with the butchers, the bakers, the candlestick makers, the drywallers, the plumbers, the truck drivers.
The people who do a beer at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a work day.
On a work day.
On a work day. And I'm getting paid to have a beer on my work day.
With the great American. Wouldn't Jesus do this?
I believe so.
I think he would.
I come from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati are very similar, so I felt this way for a long, long time. The power of Catholicism with in the minds and hearts of Catholics. I mean, someone could be baptized a Catholic and has not gone for 30 years, but they'll say, I'm Catholic, I'm a Catholic. There's something powerful there that if you were able to get Catholics turned on to Jesus, Catholics turned on to having their life the right way, the whole country would just flip right now. Because people come to Crossroads are very fickle. They like Crossroads, they're fed by Crossroads, but there's no like life history,
a lot of
weddedness.
Catholics. I have Catholic friends. There's 50 to 60 million Catholics, but there's no evangelicalism. There maybe a little bit of Dominicans, but there's none of that happening. Bible teaching, evangelical, happiness. A few churches like Good Shepherd has the instruments, that kind of stuff, but the majority is rather, I'm doing this, you watch us, and watch what we're doing.
So maybe that's how we complement each other. Folks, people in our league of baseball are good at the evangelism, perhaps, and folks in your league are better at the dogma. Or the
confession, the rosary. In other words, we kind of have the bones and the muscles, and you have like the hair and the skin. And maybe we need to bring it together. So we have one body.
Amen. Man, I'm going to finish my beer on that. Anyone have a beer in the studio ever? Am I the first one?
No, people drink here all the time.
Hey you, if you like Brian Brings a Beer, subscribe now, right here. Or share with a buddy you think would dig it too. Click away.